mama puts out on weekends. Your mama puts out on weekends. I gotta barbecue your ass! Oh no! Your mama puts out on weekends.
Alright guys, let's dive into this fight. First things first, as the boss is walking up, you're going to want to be spamming Moonfire. As soon as Moonfire goes off, you're going to want to press Rage of the Sleeper. Then just go into your normal damage rotation, do as much damage as you can until you get 5 stacks. Hopefully, while you're in there, you get a chance to interrupt Drain Life. Once you have 5 stacks, turn and immediately take out the eye that spawns, and get out of Death and Decay. If he didn't cast Drain Life while you're in there, and you have 5 or 6 stacks, you're going to just want to use one of the puddles on the floor to interrupt it. Then just Moonfire the boss until the 4 ghosts spawn. Take out any eyes that pop up, and just stand by the Prophet and wait for them. They'll all come to you, and then use your Thrash to pick them up and move them away from the Prophet, because they will wreck the Prophet and you'll lose. So, right after you use Thrash to pick them up, you'll probably have time for about 2 swipes, and then you're going to want to use Incapacitating Roar to interrupt their cast. Then Moonfire the boss until the 4 ghosts spawn. Stand by the Prophet and wait for them to get close. When they're all in range, you're going to want to use Thrash to pick them all up and move them away from the Prophet. You'll have time for 2 swipes, then you're going to want to use Incapacitating Roar to interrupt their cast. Once they're all stunned, swipe them down, while using Skull Bash on the boss to interrupt his Drain Life, because it'll probably be casting about that time. Do as much damage to the boss as you can until you have 5 stacks, then rinse and repeat. Always make sure to focus on the eyes spawning around the room, they'll knock you off, and watch out for golems, they'll smash you off as well. Just keep moving and you should be fine.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Once you kill phase 1, the real fight begins. As soon as Cruel spawns, you're going to want to press Heart of the Wild, Feral Hide Drums, and Potion of Shocking Disclosure. Do not forget the Potion of Shocking Disclosure, it's important, it does a lot of damage. Once you pop your cooldowns, you're going to want to get as much rage as possible so you can pop Iron Fur twice before his first annihilation. So get your 2 stacks of Iron Fur and immediately start looking for Twisted Reflection. You need to interrupt it as soon as he starts casting it, or it will be a wipe. You'll need to do this twice, but you'll have a good amount of time in between. I think he casts the next Twisting Reflection around the 3rd annihilation, so definitely be watching out for that. Now, make sure you have your weak Aurora to warn you when Twisted Reflection is being cast. That way you don't miss it. Now, once you've interrupted Twisting Reflection, do as much DPS as you can. Use the puddles you've saved up to make the fight last as long as possible. Ideally, you don't want to use any puddles in the first fight. That way you can use as many as you can on the second, because you're going to need them. Do not use the puddles to interrupt Twisted Reflection. I mean, you can, but he's going to cast it again as soon as he becomes unstunned. He's just going to cast it again, and you're going to have to use Skull Bash anyway to interrupt it. And don't miss it. Anytime the Ghosty Boys try to cast, use Incapacitating Roar to interrupt them. And use your Thrash to bleed them down. Now on the second Annihilate, ideally you're going to want to have 2 stacks of Iron Fur and Bark Skin. and heal yourself somehow right after. If you make it that far, you'll be on the lookout for the third Annihilation and the second Twisting Reflection. Make sure you don't miss skull bashing that or it's over. For the third Annihilate, you're going to want to use Incarn and as much Iron Fur as possible, and Bark Skin if it's off cooldown. Now you got to use everything because it hurts bad. I had 4 stacks of Iron Fur, Bark Skin, and Incarnation. Then just do as much damage as possible, use the puddles to delay it as much as possible, and pray to the wild gods for your new werebear skin. Good luck and have fun. Alright, real quick, let's go over talents, consumables, big wigs, and weak auroras. As for talents, you can just copy this, it worked for me. And for consumables, you're going to need some deviously deviled eggs. And for the rest of the consumables and enchants, in the description down below, I will link you guys a Wowhead link that will tell you everything you need to know. Now for the hard part, big wigs and weak auroras. This is probably the most complicated part of the whole fight. You might have to do some stealth study to figure this stuff out. But as far as big wigs goes, you need a Legion add-on, and go into Legion, go to Broken Shore Mage Tower, and this will show you all the abilities these guys cast. They'll give you some cooldowns and some timers and such. Go to High Lord Cruel. Everything I have unmarked here, that's important anyway, I have a weak Aurora for, but Annihilation for instance, and there's a few important ones you want to check. You're going to want these, and you're going to want to make sure you click Sound, Emphasize, and Countdown. And that way it'll give you a 5-second countdown before Annihilate goes off. It's pretty helpful. And also Drain Life and all that good stuff. So for weak auroras, we are going to, if you just Google High Lord Cruel weak auroras, it'll give you these High Lord Cruel helpers. And then if you go into conditions, you can actually add a condition, and you want to add remaining duration is less than 5 seconds. It'll play a sound, then you get to pick whatever sound it is, and that's just going to help you be prepared for whatever's about to happen. Took me forever to figure this out, and actually I had 2 of them. I had one pop off at 10 seconds before it was going to happen. That way I could start generating rage. The other one popped off at 5 seconds before Annihilate happened, and that allowed me to go ahead and pop my Iron Fur or Bark Skin or whatever. That way you're prepared for the attack. So those are kind of a big deal. Make sure you get those. And that's all there is to it. See you guys in the next one.